It's the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Season 7 countdown. Hey, I'm back, and after all this Christmas hoo-ha, I'm returning to complete a couple of seasons. Now, we're up to Season 7, which is a little bit of a painful season, because mainly it was 6 episodes, and the writing was kind of on the wall as far as the fans were concerned, that the series would not continue on Comedy Central, or maybe even ever, after this one. And it was only it wasn't even a great batch of episodes. It was just 6. The shortest season they ever did. Matter of fact, it is kind of a relief, though. It gives me a little time to, just relax with this video, so I don't have to really rush it. As a matter of fact, hold on. Give me a second. Okay. Good, already caught up. Now, Season 7, even though all these handicaps were placed on them, still was pretty enjoyable. Matter of fact, I think all 6 episodes are terrific, but I had to break them down somehow, so here we go. Number 6 is Night of the Blood Beast, and it is another Roger Corman film. And matter of fact, he recycles some stuff from, he recycles the alien is the guy from the suit from Teenage Caveman, and also that cave looks incredibly familiar. Also, the short for that was pretty enjoyable. It was, Once Upon a Honeymoon, I think it's called, and I don't know what the hell it's about. Is it about phones? I don't know, and it's not very clear. It's not very clear about phones, but it's probably something. Also, what was interesting, there was 2 versions of this episode. There was the Thanksgiving episode, where a number of characters from the past few seasons of episodes showed up at Dr. Forrester's headquarters in order to have Thanksgiving. And then, I guess, a basic episode was made introducing Pearl Forrester, and her trying to force him to take music lessons or something like that. The Thanksgiving one is better. Brute Man, and let's see, it's a very slow-paced thriller, maybe, I guess. A guy's killing people, I guess it's a thriller, out of revenge or some sort, and it's tough to watch, but the guys make it pretty fun. The short is okay. It's about chicken farming or something like that. There are parts of it are pretty decent, but it's not one of my favorite shorts. Laser Blast is the last episode of the Comedy Central run, and for a while, the last episode. So it was a little hard to watch for a while, but after a while, I can watch it pretty enjoyable. It's a great 70s piece of shit called Laser Blast. Starring a guy who is not a very good actor, Kim Milford, I think his name is, where he finds a laser weapon and it turns him evil. I'm not sure how it worked, actually. I don't know how he turns green and goes crazy, but I don't know. And you also have to have the diamond necklace thing for it to work, otherwise, actually, that's probably the thing that's really the worst part. I don't know, but there's some, Roddy McDowall's in it, and he was still kind of a B-list star at that point. I don't know why he hasn't, and he's only in the movie for 2 minutes. I'm not even sure why he's in it. But it was really well written, a lot of terrific parodies of 2001 in this episode, and it's just great work. Escape 2000 is an 80s foreign-y kind of film. I think it was made in Italy. Takes place in sort of the future in New York, when apparently, I don't know, it's like rich people are almost like dictators. I mean, I'm not sure if they're totally sure of how American government works, but I don't know, they just went for it. And there's a lot of action, there's a lot of shooting, and Toblerone is a minor character who sort of runs the gang underground, and they really enjoy him, and he's actually fun to parody. Pretty good episode. Deathstalkers is just, oh my god. Deathstalkers is one of those movies, like in the 80s especially, if you're a kid like me, you'd go to video stores and you see these great fantasy kind of video sitting on the shelf, and they had this fantasy artwork. And even then, I was a little wise to the idea that it has awesome fantasy art on the cover and not the movie characters. It's probably not a very good movie. And this is one of those cases. There were 5 Deathstalker movies. Can you believe it? This was, I think, the 3rd one. And they had a different Deathstalker in each movie. And the guy in this movie is awful. He's just terrible. And he's just... I think Crow calls him odious in one moment, and it's true, he is quite odious. But a lot of great riffs in this episode. The music is just terrific that they make fun of. And it's very cheesy. The sound effects are amazingly cheesy. I just can't believe this episode. And number 1 is The Incredible Melting Man, another 70s one. And it's effects by Rick Baker. And you can tell, I mean, it's goopy gory everywhere. And it's basically almost an experiment movie for Rick Baker. He's just plotting goops and gobs and spirit gum all over this guy. And there's no character. There's nothing. There's Dr. Ted Nelson, and he's basically our cast. And the Incredible Melting Man has, I think his name's Steve. I think so. That's it. And that's the whole cast, Dr. Ted Nelson. For some reason, I don't know why the director and the writer had him yell his name so much, as if that's supposed to be some sort of meaningful name or something like that, like, oh yeah, Dr. Ted Nelson. And of course, the guys pick up on that and just make fun of it all the way through. And it's just perfectly riffed. There's just not one moment missed in this episode. I love it. That's probably my favorite episode of the season. Lindsay's pick is Escape 2000. And one of my favorite parts in Escape 2000 is Mike's impression of Toblerone. I mean, he's just so great. And you know, I'm Italian, and yeah, Italians are exactly like that. And the bit with him and Pearl at the end, where she's trapped in the tiny house that Forrester built for her, is just that's just a great send-off on this episode. I loved it a lot. Now, the season in general. This is when Frank is gone. And his presence is clearly missed, and he is replaced with Pearl, who showed up at first in season 6. And it took me a while to warm up to Pearl, actually, all up until she was on her own, actually, in season 8 is when I started really kind of... Because the thing is, that it threw off the dichotomy with the evil characters so badly, because it was evil Forrester, it is minion Frank, and you know, you would kind of cheer for him to get the best of Forrester, but you know, it was usually Forrester in command. And with his mother here, that just totally, I mean, he was completely dominated by her almost the whole season. Well, they didn't really get a chance to develop the relationship, unfortunately, because it was only 6 episodes. So we didn't get to see where this could go. So, I don't know, it was a little off-putting for a while, but I'll talk more about Pearl next season, where she really kind of, when she got to take over, that's when things for her started to really, you know, kind of set and really started to grow as a character. But anyway, the season overall, I would give it 4 Ram chips. Not perfect, and you know, it's got that cloud of MST3K being canceled by Comedy Central kind of hanging over it from episode 1, so you knew it was coming. But, oh, do we have, how much time we got?
A little over a minute.
Oh, a minute? Don't really have too much time then. Lindsay got me this, Cinematic Titanic's episode 2, Doomsday Machine. It's brilliant. I love it. It feels like the old show. If you can get it, get it. And I got this one. It's a real steak burger. All right, push the button, Lindsay.